In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. Alif, Lam, Ra. These are the revealed verses of the clear book of God, elucidating truth. We have sent it down as an Arabic Quran, so that you may understand its prolific meaning. We relate to you, O Prophet, the fairest of stories in our revealing to you this Quran. And indeed, before it was revealed, you were among those who were unaware of it. Behold, Joseph said to his father, "My dear father, I saw in my dream 11 stars and the sun and the moon. I saw them bowing down before me." He said, "My dear son, do not relate your vision to your brothers, for they will devise a plot against you. Indeed, Satan is a clear enemy to man, and thus shall your Lord choose you and teach you the interpretation of foreshadowed events, and thereby perfect His heavenly blessing upon you and upon the family of Jacob, as He perfected it before upon your fathers Abraham and Isaac. Indeed, your Lord is all-knowing, all-wise. Very truly, in the narrative of Joseph and his brothers are signs for those who inquire after truth. Behold, the brothers of Joseph said, "Most surely Joseph and his full brother are more beloved by our Father than we are, though we are a band of brothers. Indeed, our Father has most surely fallen into clear misguidance in this. Kill Joseph, or cast him away to some distant land, freeing your father's face and his affections for yourselves, and be you thereafter a most righteous people once again." One of them said, "Do not kill Joseph. Rather, cast him into the depths of a well, where some caravan may pluck him out, if you must do something." They said, "O our Father, what has become of you, that you do not trust us with Joseph, though truly we mean him well?" Send him with us tomorrow to picnic and play, and indeed we shall certainly safeguard him." He said, "Indeed, it truly grieves me that you should go away with him, for I fear the wolf will eat him, while you are heedless of him." They said, "If the wolf should eat him, while we are a band of brothers, then indeed we are most surely losers." So, when they went away with him and resolved to put him into the depths of the well, we revealed to Joseph, "You shall most surely tell them of this evil affair of theirs at a time when they are utterly unaware of who you are." So they came to their father in the evening, weeping. They said, "O our father, truly we went racing and left Joseph with our belongings, and the wolf ate him. But never will you believe us, even if we are truthful." And they brought forth his shirt with false blood on it. He said, "No, but it is your own souls that have tempted you to something. Yet nothing is left to me but beautiful patience. And God alone is besought for help against all that you claim." Now there came a caravan, and they sent forth their water scout. So he let down his bucket into the well. He said, "Oh, glad tidings! There is a boy." And they hid him as merchandise. Yet God was all aware of all that they were doing. Thus they sold him for a paltry price, a number of coins, for they were disinclined toward him. The man from Egypt who bought him said to his wife, "Tend graciously to his dwelling. He may benefit us, or we may take him as a son." And thus did we establish Joseph in the land, that we might teach him of the interpretation of events that dreams foretell. For God prevails in his affairs, but most people do not comprehend this. So, when he had reached full maturity, we gave him prophetic wisdom and knowledge of God. And thus do we reward those who excel in doing good. Now, she in whose house he was serving solicited him to have him. Thus she bolted the doors and said, "Here I am for you." He said, "God is my refuge. I will not betray the High Minister. Instead, he is my Lord, who has made excellent my dwelling, and never shall the ungodly wrongdoers succeed." And very truly, she had firmly set her desire on him, and he too would have set his desire on her had he not seen a guiding proof from his Lord. In this way did we turn evil and lewdness away from him. Indeed, he was one of our sincere elect servants. So they both raced for the door, and she rent his shirt from behind. But they encountered her Lord at the door. At once she said to him, "What shall be the recompense for one who desired evil with your wife, but that he be imprisoned or suffer a most painful torment?" Joseph said, "It was she who solicited me to have me." Then a witness from her own family came forth and testified, "If his shirt is rent from the front, then she has spoken the truth, and he is of the liars. But if his shirt is rent from behind, then she has lied, and he is of the truthful." Thus, when the High Minister saw that his shirt was rent from behind, he said to her, "This is indeed of your womanly cunning. Indeed, your cunning is great." Joseph, the High Minister, said, "Turn aside from this. And as for you," he said to his wife, "ask forgiveness for your sin. Indeed, you have been one of the exceedingly sinful." The ladies of high society in the city said, "The wife of the High Minister solicits her servant to have him. Truly, he has pierced her heart with love. Indeed, we most surely see her falling into clear misguidance with this." So, when she heard of their contriving gossip, she sent for them, having prepared for them reclining cushions. Then to each one of them she gave a knife for their repast. Then she said to Joseph, while they were cutting their delicacies, "Go out to them." Then, when suddenly they saw him, they so thoroughly admired him that in heedlessness they cut their hands and said, "God save us. This is no human. This is none other than a most gracious angel." She said, "This then is he for whom you have blamed me. Indeed, I did solicit him to have him for myself, but he resisted. Yet, if he does not soon do all that I command him, he will most surely be imprisoned, and he will most surely be counted as one of the abased." He said, "My Lord, prison would be dearer to me than that to which they call me. For if you do not turn their cunning away from me, I might incline toward them, and so become one of the wayward and ignorant." So his Lord answered him, "Thus he turned their cunning away from him. Indeed, it is he who is the all-hearing, the all-knowing." Then it occurred to the prominent men among them, even after they had seen the clear signs of his innocence, that they should imprison him for a time. Now, 2 young servants entered the prison with him. One of them said, "I saw myself in a dream pressing wine." The other said, "I saw myself carrying a bread on my head, from which birds were eating." Tell us its interpretation. Indeed, we see that you are one of those who excel in doing good. He said, "The food that in time you are to be provided shall not come to either of you, but that I shall prophesy to you about your dreams and their interpretation before it comes to you. This is from what my Lord has taught me. Indeed, I have forsaken the ways of a people who do not believe in God. Moreover, with regard to the hereafter, they are indeed disbelievers. Thus I have followed the sacred way of my fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It is not for us to associate anything as a God with God. This is of God's grace upon us and upon all people. Yet most people do not give thanks to God with an undivided heart. O my prison mates, are various lords better, or God, the one, the all-dominating? All that you worship apart from Him are but mere names you have named, you and your forefathers. God has not sent down any authority for them in His revelations. Judgment belongs to none but God. He has commanded that you shall not worship other than Him. That is the upright way of religion. But most people do not comprehend this. O my prison mates, as for the first one of you, his dream means that he shall pour wine for his Lord, the king of Egypt. And as for the other, he shall be crucified, and the birds will eat from his head. The matter of which you inquire is now determined. Then he said to the one whom he knew would be delivered of the two, mention me before your Lord, for I am innocent. But Satan caused him to forget mentioning Joseph to his Lord. So he remained in prison for some years. Now, one day, the king said, I saw in a dream 7 fat cows being eaten by 7 lean ones, and 7 green ears of corn, and 7 others withered. O assembly of nobles, explain to me my vision, if you are able to interpret such visions. They said, just a muddle of dreams, nor are we knowledgeable in the interpretation of dreams. Then the one who had been delivered from the 2 prison mates, remembering at long last, said, I will tell you of its interpretation. So send me forth to the prison. He said, Joseph, O you who are truthful, explain for us the king's dream regarding 7 fat cows being eaten by 7 lean ones, and 7 green ears of corn, and 7 others withered, so that I may return to the people of the court, so that they may know its meaning. He said, "You shall plant corn diligently for 7 years, but what you have harvested, leave in its ear, except a little from which you shall eat. Then there shall come after this 7 severe years of drought that will consume what you have reserved for them, except a little, of which you shall store for seed. Then there shall come after this a year in which people are relieved by rain, and in which they shall rejoice and press grapes for wine." So the king said, "Bring this interpreter to me." But when the messenger came to Joseph in prison, Joseph said, "Return to your Lord and ask him about the case of the women who cut their hands. Indeed, my Lord is all-knowing of their cunning." The king said, after summoning the women, "What have you to say about your affair when you solicited Joseph to have him?" They said, "God save us! We know nothing evil of him." The wife of the high minister said, "Now the truth shall be settled. I solicited him to have him, and indeed he is of the truthful. This is so he may know that I did not betray him in his absence. For assuredly God does not guide the cunning of the betrayers. Yet I do not absolve myself. Indeed, the self often bids to evil, except on whomever my Lord has mercy. Indeed, my Lord is all forgiving, mercy giving. So the king said, "Bring Joseph to me. I shall choose him as an advisor for myself." So when the king spoke to him, he said, "Indeed, from this day on, you are well established and well trusted with us." Joseph said, "Appoint me High Minister over the treasuries of the land. I am a good keeper and knowledgeable. And thus did we establish Joseph in the land, to settle in it wherever he so willed. We bestow our mercy upon whomever we so will, and never do we waste the reward of those who excel in doing good. Yet more surely the reward of the hereafter is far better for those who believe and are God-fearing. Thereafter, the brothers of Joseph came to Egypt, and they entered upon him at court to request provision. He recognized them, but they were unknowing of him. When he had supplied them with their supplies, he said, "Bring me that brother of yours from your father whom you spoke of to receive his share. Do you not see that I have fully apportioned the measure of your provision, and that I have been the best of hosts? But if you do not bring him to me, there shall be no more measure allotted for you with me, and you will never come near me again." They said, "We shall solicit his father for him, and this request we will most surely act upon." He said to his servants, "Place their own merchandise back in their packs, so that they may recognize it when they go back to their families, so that they may return in hope of further aid." So, when they returned to their father, they said, "O our father, we have been prevented from any further allotment of provision if we fail the High Minister's request. So, send with us our brother, so that we may have our measure, and more surely we shall safeguard him." He said, "Am I to entrust you with him, as I entrusted you with his brother before? Yet it is God alone who is the best of guardians, and he is the most merciful of the merciful." But when they opened their belongings, they found their own merchandise returned to them. They said, "O our father, what more evidence of goodwill do we seek. Here is our merchandise returned to us. We shall supply our families amply, and we shall safeguard our brother. Moreover, we shall gain an extra camel's load. That is an easy measure to obtain. He said, never will I send him with you until you give me a solemn vow before God that you will most surely bring him back to me, unless you yourselves are entrapped. So, when they gave him their solemn vow, he said in admonition, God is a guardian over what we say. Then he said, O my sons, do not all enter the city through one gate, but enter through separate gates. Yet I cannot avail you against anything from God. Judgment belongs to none but God. On Him alone do I rely, and on Him alone then let the truly reliant believers rely. So, when they entered the city from the points where their father had commanded them, it did not avail them against anything from God. It was but a need in Jacob's soul that he fulfilled. Yet, indeed, he was endowed with the revealed knowledge that we had taught him. But most people do not know the virtues of caution and faith. So, when they entered upon Joseph at court, he took his full brother to himself. Privately he said to him, I am indeed your very own brother, so be troubled no longer about what they have done to me. Then, when he supplied them with their supplies, he secretly put the royal drinking cup in his own brother's bag. Then a crier called out to them as they were departing, O you cameleers! Indeed, you are thieves. They said, as they turned toward them, what is it that you are missing? They said, we are missing the king's goblet, and for him who brings it forth, there is a camel's load of provision in reward. And that, the crier said, I guarantee. The brothers said, By God, very truly, you know well that we do not come to spread corruption in the land, and that we are not thieves. They said, What then shall be the recompense for stealing it, if you are liars? The brothers said, The recompense for it shall be that the one in whose pack it is found, he himself shall be its recompense. Thus do we recompense the wrongdoers for stealing in our religion. Then Joseph began the search with their bags before coming to his brother's bag. Then he pulled the goblet out from his brother's bag. Thus did we plan it for Joseph's sake. Never could he have taken his brother under the law of the king, except as God had willed. We raise in rank whomever we so will, and above every one who has knowledge is the one who is all-knowing. The brother said, If he now has stolen, then truly a full brother of his has stolen before. But Joseph suppressed his outrage at this within himself, and did not disclose his reply to them. In his heart he said, You are in the most evil position, and God himself knows best about what you claim. They said, O High Minister, truly he has an aged father, well advanced in years. So take one of us in his place. Indeed, we see that you are of those who excel in doing good. He said, God is my refuge. Were we to take anyone other than the one with whom we found our belongings, then indeed we would be wrongdoers. So, when they despaired of him relenting, they withdrew, conferring privately. The eldest of them said, Do you not know that your father has taken from you a solemn vow before God, and that you have deserted Joseph before? Therefore, never will I leave this land until my father permits me, or God so determines it for me, and He is the very best of judges. Return to your father and say to him, O our father, your son has most surely stolen, and we cannot bear witness to other than what we know, nor could we safeguard him against the unforeseen. Moreover, ask the people of the town which we were in, and the cameleers with whom we came back, for most surely we are truthful. When they returned and told their father, he said, No, but your own souls have tempted you to something. Thus, nothing is left to me but beautiful patience. May God bring each of them back to me all together. Indeed, He is the all-knowing, the all-wise. Then, desolately, he turned away from them and said, Ah, my sorrow for Joseph! And his eyes went white from grief, for long had he suppressed his anguish. They said to him, By God, you will continue mentioning Joseph until you are thoroughly drained, or you become one of those who have perished out of grief. He said, I complain of my anguish and my grief only to God, for I know from God what you do not know. Now, my sons, go to Egypt and inquire of Joseph and his brother, and do not despair of God's mercy, for most surely none despairs of God's mercy except the disbelieving people. So, when they returned and entered upon the court of Joseph, they said to him, O High Minister, famine has stricken us and our families. Thus have we come with merchandise of little worth. Yet fill for us the full measure of our provision, and be charitable to us. Indeed, God rewards the charitable. He said, Do you know what terrible harm you have done to Joseph and to his brother when you were ignorant of the grave consequences of your actions? They said, "Can it be truly be that you are indeed Joseph?" He said, "I am Joseph, and this is my full brother. Truly, God has conferred divine favor upon us. For whoever fears God and keeps patient, then indeed never shall God waste the reward of those who excel in doing good." They said, "By God, very truly, God has preferred you over us, and we have indeed been sinful." He said, "There is no blame on you this day. May God forgive you, for He is the most merciful of the merciful. Go with this shirt of mine and lay it upon my Father's face. He shall come to me with his sight restored, and bring me your families as well, all of them together." Now, when the cameleers had departed Egypt, their father said to those near him, "Indeed, I sense the fragrance of Joseph, though you may deem me senile." They said, "By God, indeed you remain in the grip of your old delusion of seeing him again." So, when the bearer of glad tidings came to Jacob, he laid the shirt upon his face. Thereupon he regained his sight and said to his children, "Did I not tell you that I indeed know from God what you do not know?" They said, "O our Father, ask God for the forgiveness of our sins. Indeed, we have been sinful." He said, "I will ask forgiveness from my Lord for you. He is the all-forgiving, the mercy-giving." So, when finally they had all reached Egypt and entered upon the court of Joseph, he took his parents in his embrace to himself and said, "Enter Egypt by the will of God in full security." Then he raised his parents onto the throne, and they all fell to the ground, bowing down before him in respect. He said, "My dear father, this is the interpretation of my vision of before when I was young. Indeed, my Lord has made it come true. He was good to me when he brought me out of the prison, and now he has brought you here from the desert after Satan had incited animosity between me and my brothers. My Lord is all kind and gentle in whatever he so wills. Indeed, it is He alone who is the all-knowing, the all-wise. My Lord, truly you have given me a share of the kingdom, and you have taught me the interpretation of the events dreams foretell. O sole originator of the heavens and the earth, you alone are my patron in this world and in the hereafter. Take my soul when I die as a Muslim in willing submission to you alone, and unite me in the hereafter with the righteous. This is but one of the tidings of the unseen past that we reveal to you, O Prophet, for you were not with them when they resolved to execute their evil affair, and while they were plotting it. But most people, even though you are eager for them to believe, will not be believers in this, though you do not ask of them any reward for conveying it to them. Yet this Quran is but a revealed reminder of God's admonition and guidance sent to all the people of the worlds. For how many a sign of God's oneness do they pass by in the heavens and in the earth, only to turn away from them without regard or contemplation. Rather, most of them do not believe in God, except while associating others in His divinity with Him. Do they then feel secure against an overspreading torment that may come to them from God, or against the hour of doom itself? that may come upon them suddenly while they are not at all aware. Say to them, O Prophet, this is my way. I call to God based on clear, revealed proof. I and whoever follows me. So, most highly exalted be God, for I am not of those who associate gods with God. Nor have we sent any messengers to the generations before you, O Prophet, but mere mortal men to whom we gave revelation, chosen from among the people of the established towns. Have they not then journeyed through the earth to see how devastating was the end of those who belied God's messages before them? Yet, more surely, the abode of the hereafter is far better than the life of this world for those who are God-fearing. Will you human beings not then understand? For when finally the messengers approached despair and deemed that they had been resolutely belied by their people, our help came to them. Thus, whomever we so willed was delivered from obliteration. But our deadly affliction could not be turned back from the defiant unbelievers. Thus, very truly, the narration of their stories is a lesson for those who are endowed with discretion and understanding, and so heed admonition. The Quran is not a forged tale. Rather, it is a confirmation of all the heavenly scriptures that preceded it, and a distinct detailing of all things that God has enjoined and forbidden, as well as divine guidance from error and to the path of God's mercy for a people who would believe.